The sound of shattering glass echoes through my boutique as Isabella hurls another designer handbag across the stockroom. I close my eyes and count to 10, reminding myself that I didn't spend 15 years building this business from nothing just to let my stepdaughter destroy it in 15 minutes. This collection is garbage, Isabella announces, her perfectly manicured hand waving dismissively at the carefully curated spring line I'd spent months sourcing. Daddy's friends wouldn't be caught dead carrying these. I'm Talia, and 6 months ago, I made what I'm starting to think might be the biggest mistake of my life. I married into the McCormick family. Don't get me wrong, I love Reed. He's everything I could want in a husband. It's his daughter who's making me question everything. Those bags are handcrafted by artisans in Italy, I explain, keeping my voice steady. They're exclusive pieces that, whatever. Isabella cuts me off, pulling out her phone. I need $50,000 for the wedding florist. Harold says we absolutely must have imported peonies for the centerpieces. My stomach drops. 50,000? For flowers? Don't be so provincial, Talia. She rolls her eyes, already tapping away at her screen. I've already told Harold yes, just transfer the money to my account like usual. Like usual. As if my boutique is her personal ATM. I think about the long nights I spent sleeping on a cot in this very stockroom, saving every penny to keep my dream alive. About the time I lived on ramen noodles for 3 months straight to make payroll during the recession. Isabella, we need to talk about your spending. I start, but she's already heading for the door, her designer heels clicking against the hardwood floors. Oh my God, you sound just like my last stepmother. She pauses at the threshold, throwing me a look that could freeze hell. And we both know how that ended. The bell above the door chimes as she exits, leaving me alone with the mess she's made. I pull out my phone and dial Penny's number. Let me guess, my best friend answers on the first ring. Hurricane Isabella just blew through? She wants 50 grand for wedding flowers. I sink into my office chair, surveying the damage. That's on top of the 100,000 she's already blown through this month. Girl, you need to tell Reed, Penny says. This is getting out of control. I've tried. I massage my temples, feeling a headache coming on. He just says she's stressed about the wedding and to let her have this moment. Her moment doesn't need to bankrupt you, Penny points out. What does Noah think about all this? My brother's voice echoes in my head from our conversation last week. You're too soft, Tal. She's walking all over you because you let her. Before I can respond, my office door opens and Reed walks in, looking handsome in his tailored suit. My heart still skips a beat when I see him, even after everything. There's my beautiful wife, he says, leaning down to kiss me. His smile fades when he sees my expression. What's wrong? Isabella was just here, I begin carefully. Reed, we need to discuss. His phone buzzes, and he holds up a finger. Sorry, honey, I need to take this. But listen, Isabella mentioned something about wedding flowers. Just handle it, okay? Whatever she needs, I'll make it up to you. He's gone before I can protest, leaving behind only the lingering scent of his expensive cologne. I stare at the broken glass on the floor, at the scattered inventory that represents thousands in potential profits, and something inside me shifts. My phone pings with a notification. It's an email from Isabella to Harold, the wedding planner, CCing me on the payment details for the flowers. The amount has somehow grown to 75,000. That's it, I mutter, opening my laptop. Time to see exactly where my money's been going these past few months. Penny's voice comes through the phone I'd forgotten was still connected. Tal, you still there? Yeah, I reply, fingers flying over the keyboard as I access the boutique's accounts. But I'm done playing nice stepmommy. If Isabella wants to treat my life's work like her personal piggy bank, she's about to learn what happens when you break things that don't belong to you. What are you going to do? I pause, watching as the transaction history loads on my screen. I'm going to give her exactly the wedding she deserves. Another email notification pops up. Isabella demanding I process the payment immediately. I click delete and smile for the first time today. She has no idea what's coming. The numbers on my screen don't lie, but I check them again anyway. $250,000 in unauthorized transfers over the past 3 months. My hands shake as I scroll through the transactions, each one like a knife in my gut. You need to see this, I tell Noah over the phone. Can you come by the boutique? 20 minutes later, my brother's examining my laptop screen. His usual easy smile, replaced by a deep frown. She's forging your signature on these transfers, Tal. That's straight up fraud. I know. I pull up another document. Look at this email chain. She's been corresponding with vendors using my business email account, authorizing payments I never approved. Noah whistles low. Does Reed know? Before I can answer, the boutique's front door chimes. Isabella saunters in, followed by her friend Skylar. They're giggling about something until Isabella spots me behind the counter. Finally, I've been trying to reach you all morning, Isabella says, her voice sharp. The flower payment still hasn't gone through. That's because I didn't approve it, I reply, standing straighter. We need to talk about these unauthorized transfers, Isabella. Skylar's eyes widen, and she takes a small step back. Maybe I should wait outside. No, stay, Isabella commands, then turns to me. What unauthorized transfers? Daddy said I could use the boutique account for wedding expenses. Reed said you could use some funds, within reason, I correct her, not empty out my business accounts. Isabella laughs, but there's no humor in it. Your business accounts. Last I checked, you married into our family. Everything here is technically Daddy's anyway. Noah steps forward, his presence solid and reassuring beside me. That's not how it works, Isabella. The boutique belongs to Talia. She built it before she met your father. And who are you supposed to be? Isabella sneers. I'm her brother, and I'm also a financial advisor who knows fraud when he sees it. Isabella's perfectly composed face cracks for just a second. Fear flickers in her eyes before she masks it with contempt. Whatever, I'm calling Daddy. She pulls out her phone, manicured nails clicking against the screen. Go ahead, I say quietly. While you're at it, explain why you've been forging my signature and accessing accounts you're not authorized to use. Skylar gasps. Bella, you said Talia was handling all the payments. Shut up, Sky, Isabella snaps, then forces a smile as she puts the phone to her ear. Daddy, you need to come to the boutique right now. Talia's being impossible about the wedding expenses. 20 tense minutes later, Reed arrives, looking harried. What's going on? I was in the middle of a meeting. Show him, Noah tells me. I turn my laptop around. Reed, look at these transactions. She's trying to ruin my wedding. Isabella cuts in, tears suddenly streaming down her face. She's always been jealous of me, of our family's position. Now she's making up lies about me stealing. Making up lies. I pull up the email chain. Here's you impersonating me to vendors. Here's a forged signature on a bank transfer. Here's... Enough, Reed raises his hands. Isabella, is this true? Daddy, please, she sobs. You said I could use the money. I said you could have reasonable wedding expenses covered. Reed's voice is dangerously quiet. Not commit fraud. I think, Noah interjects, we should all sit down with the accountants and go through these transactions in detail. Isabella's tears dry up instantly. This is ridiculous. I'm leaving. No, you're not, Reed says firmly. You're going to sit down right now and explain exactly what you've done. Fine, Isabella shouts, mask finally cracking completely. You want to know what I did? I took what I deserved. What's a few $100,000 to this family anyway? Daddy spends that much on a weekend in Vegas. The boutique falls silent. Skylar looks mortified. Noah shakes his head. Reed's face has gone pale. I think, I say into the silence, we should continue this discussion at the house, with our lawyers present. Isabella's laugh turns hysterical. Lawyers? Really? You're going to sue me? Your precious stepdaughter? Over a few wedding expenses? I meet her eyes steadily. No, Isabella, I'm going to hold you accountable, maybe for the first time in your life. She grabs her purse and storms toward the door, pausing only to spit out, "You'll regret this. Nobody comes between me and my wedding. Nobody." As the door slams behind her, I notice an email notification pop up on my screen. It's from Isabella to Harold, the wedding planner, sent just minutes ago. "Proceed with everything as planned. I don't care what it costs. Someone will pay for it all one way or another." I forward the email to my lawyer, then look at Reed. "We need to talk." "You're not actually going through with this, are you?" Penny asks, watching me sort through the stack of financial documents spread across my dining room table. "The wedding's in 3 days. That's exactly why I have to do it now." I hold up a bank statement covered in highlighted transactions. "Look at this." She's even billing personal shopping sprees as wedding decorations. Noah enters with his laptop, setting it beside the papers. "I've got something you need to see, Tal." He pulls up a video file. "Security footage from the boutique. Watch this." The grainy footage shows Isabella entering, after hours, using a key she shouldn't have. She goes straight to my office, sits at my computer, and starts typing. "When was this?" I lean closer to the screen. "Last week. I had the IT guy check your computer logs. She's been accessing your email, sending authorizations to vendors, and deleting the records." Penny whistles. "That's next level crazy." My phone buzzes. A text from Reed. "Can we talk?" "Isabella's devastated." "Devastated," I read aloud, laughing without humor. "She's devastated that she got caught, maybe." "What did Reed say when you showed him everything?" Penny asks. "He's in denial. Keeps saying there must be some misunderstanding." I start typing a response, but delete it. "He's at Isabella's place now, probably letting her manipulate him again." Noah closes his laptop. "You know what you have to do, sis." "The video presentation at the reception." I nod. "Everything's ready?" "Almost. Just need to add this new footage." The doorbell rings, making us all jump. Through the window, I spot Melina, Reed's sister, standing on the porch. I open the door, and she rushes in without waiting for an invitation. "You won't believe what I just heard," she says, dropping her designer bag on the table. "I was at the country club with Skylar, and she told me Isabella's been lying to everyone about the wedding budget." "What do you mean?" I ask. "She's been telling Thomas's family that you and Reed are paying for everything, because you insisted. That it's your wedding gift to them." Melina's eyes flash with anger. "She's made you look like some desperate stepmother trying to buy her way into the family." My hands clench into fists. "Of course she has." "There's more," Melina continues. "She's been spreading rumors that you're jealous of her relationship with Reed. That you're trying to come between them." Noah stands up. "That's it. We're showing the video at the reception." "No," Penny interrupts. "You need to stop this before the wedding. Think about Thomas. He doesn't deserve to be humiliated in front of everyone. Thomas needs to see who he's really marrying." I counter. "And everyone else needs to see who Isabella really is." My phone buzzes again. Another text from Reed. "Coming home. We need to talk." "He's going to try to talk you out of this," Melina warns. "Isabella's got him wrapped around her finger." "Not this time," I say, gathering the documents. "Noah, finish the video." "Penny, I need you to." The front door opens, and Reed walks in. He stops short at the sight of all of us. "Family meeting?" he asks, attempting a smile that doesn't reach his eyes. "Just going over some interesting financial records," I reply. "Want to join us?" He sighs, loosening his tie. "Talia, honey, I know Isabella made some mistakes, but she's agreed to pay everything back. Can't we just move past this?" "Move past this?" Melina stands up. "Reed, your daughter committed fraud. She's been lying to everyone, including Thomas's family. She's young." Reed protests weakly. "She got carried away with the wedding planning." "She's 28 years old," I say, my voice steady. "And this isn't about the money anymore. This is about consequences. What are you planning?" He looks at the papers, the laptop, our faces. "The truth," I answer simply. "Everyone's going to know the truth." "You'll destroy her," Reed says quietly. "No," I correct him. She destroyed herself. I'm just making sure she can't destroy anyone else. My phone pings with an email notification. It's from Harold, the wedding planner, forwarding a message from Isabella. Don't worry about the budget anymore. I've taken care of everything. Talia won't be a problem after tomorrow. I show the email to Reed. His face pales as he reads it. Still want to defend her? I ask. He sinks into a chair, suddenly looking older than his years. Do what you have to do, he says finally. Just make it quick. I nod to Noah, who opens his laptop again. Let's finish this video. As we work, another email arrives, this time from Thomas's mother, thanking me profusely for my generous gift of paying for the entire wedding. Attached is a screenshot of a message from Isabella, claiming it was all Talia's idea. I add it to our evidence. 3 days until the wedding, and Isabella has no idea what's coming. The church is a masterpiece of white flowers and crystal decorations, exactly what you'd expect from a wedding that supposedly cost close to $500,000. I sit in the third row, watching Isabella float down the aisle in her designer gown, looking every bit the innocent bride. You okay? Penny whispers beside me. I nod slightly, feeling the USB drive in my clutch like a loaded weapon. The video is ready. Noah checked it 3 times this morning. Thomas stands at the altar, beaming at his bride with complete adoration. My stomach twists. He has no idea that the woman he's about to marry used stolen money to create this fairy tale. If anyone knows any reason why these two should not be joined in holy matrimony, speak now or forever hold your peace. Penny squeezes my hand. We both stay silent. This isn't the time. Not yet. After the ceremony, I find Reed in the church vestibule. He hasn't spoken more than 2 words to me since yesterday. Last chance to stop this, he says quietly. Last chance for Isabella to come clean, I counter. He runs a hand through his silver hair. I talked to her again this morning. She swears she'll pay everything back. With what money, Reed? The money she's still stealing from my business. Before he can respond, Harold approaches us, tablet in hand. Talia, I just wanted to thank you again for being so generous with the budget. The reception venue looks absolutely stunning. I force a smile. I'm sure it does, Harold. Every penny well spent, right? He beams, oblivious to the tension. Isabella said you insisted on sparing no expense. Such a wonderful stepmother you are. As Harold walks away, Reed won't meet my eyes. Maybe she really does feel guilty, he suggests weakly. Let's find out. I head for the church exit, where limousines wait to take us to the reception. The grand ballroom of the country club is even more extravagant than the church. Crystal chandeliers sparkle above tables laden with imported flowers and custom place settings. A string quartet plays softly in the corner. Everything's set, Noah murmurs as he passes by. Videos queued up for right after the father-daughter dance. I spot Isabella holding court with her bridesmaids, Skylar among them. They're all laughing about something until Isabella sees me watching. She excuses herself and sashays over, enjoying the wedding, Talia. Her smile is pure venom. I hope you're taking notes. This is how real society events are done, not like those little boutique parties you throw. It's certainly impressive, I agree. I especially like all the personal touches you've added with my money. Her smile doesn't waver. Careful, Talia. You wouldn't want to make a scene at my wedding. What would Daddy think? Don't worry about scenes, Isabella. I'm more interested in presentations. Something flickers in her eyes. Uncertainty, maybe fear. But before she can respond, the DJ announces it's time for the father-daughter dance. I watch Reed lead Isabella onto the dance floor as Butterfly Kisses plays. They spin slowly, and for a moment, I see what Reed sees. His little girl, his princess. Then I remember the security footage of her sneaking into my office. The forged signatures, the lies. Melina appears at my elbow. Ready? Almost. I scan the room. Where's Thomas? By the bar with his parents. They're still gushing about your incredible generosity. The dance ends to applause. Isabella curtsies dramatically, blowing kisses to the crowd. Reed makes his way back to me, his expression troubled. What's wrong? I ask. She just told me she's already spent the money for next month's boutique inventory on the honeymoon. I stare at him. And, you're right, this has to stop. I signal to Noah, who heads for the DJ booth with the USB drive. Isabella's at the head table now, whispering with Thomas, probably feeding him more lies. Ladies and gentlemen, the DJ announces, before dinner is served, we have a special presentation prepared by the family. Isabella's head snaps up. This isn't on her meticulously planned schedule. The lights dim. The giant screen behind the head table flickers to life. Isabella's own voice fills the ballroom. Of course Talia doesn't know. She's such an idiot. I've been forging her signature for months. The security footage plays next, showing her breaking into my office. Then the bank statements appear, highlighted transactions scrolling past as Isabella's emails to vendors flash on screen. The ballroom is dead silent, except for gasps and murmurs. Thomas's mother stands up, her face white with shock. Skylar covers her mouth with her hand. And Isabella, she's frozen in her seat, watching her carefully constructed world crumble on the giant screen before her. The lights come up, all eyes turn to the head table. Thomas slowly pushes his chair back, standing up. Isabella, his voice cracks. What is this? She opens her mouth, but for once, Isabella McCormick has nothing to say. The silence lasts exactly 3 seconds before Isabella finds her voice. It's all lies, she shrieks, jumping to her feet. Talia doctored those videos. She's trying to ruin my wedding because she's jealous. Jealous? I stand up slowly. Let's talk about the truth, Isabella. Show everyone your phone. Show them the banking app you used to transfer my money. Thomas turns to his new wife, his face ashen. Did you steal the money for our wedding? Of course not, baby. Isabella grabs his arm. Daddy, tell them I had permission. Reed steps forward, and for a moment, I think he might cave again. But he shakes his head. No more lies, Isabella. We found your hidden account. We have the proof. Mrs. Francis, Thomas's mother stands up, her voice shaking. You told us Talia insisted on paying for everything. You said it was her wedding gift. That's right. Isabella's mascara starts to run. She promised, and now she's trying to humiliate me. Noah clicks to the next slide. Isabella's email to Harold appears. Don't worry about telling Thomas where the money's coming from. His family is too middle class to understand how things work in our world anyway. Thomas jerks away from Isabella like he's been burned. Middle class? Is that what you think of my family? No, Thomas, please. She reaches for him, but he backs away. Skylar stands up from the bridesmaids' table. You told me Talia was handling all the payments. You made me lie to vendors. The room erupts in chaos. Guests start whispering. Phones come out, and Isabella's perfect wedding dissolves into a social media nightmare in real time. I can explain everything, Isabella screams over the growing noise. This is all a misunderstanding. A misunderstanding? I walk toward the head table, pulling out my phone. Should we call the police? Let them decide if fraud and theft are just misunderstandings. You wouldn't dare, but her voice wavers. Try me. Thomas's father, a respected judge, rises from his seat. I believe we've heard enough. Thomas, come with us. We need to discuss annulment options. Annulment? Isabella's voice rises to a shriek. No, Thomas, don't listen to them. I love you. Love me? Thomas laughs bitterly. You love my family's connections. That's what this was all about, wasn't it? Social climbing. That's not true. But Isabella's eyes dart around the room, calculating, still looking for an escape route. Melina steps forward. Should we show them the texts about Thomas's unfortunate background and how you plan to fix his family's image once you were married? Isabella lunges for her phone, but she's too late. The next slide is already playing. Screenshots of her messages to Skylar. Once I'm married, I'll have access to his trust fund. Then I can finally ditch these new money pretenders and live like I deserve. Thomas turns away, his shoulders shaking. His mother wraps an arm around him and leads him toward the exit. Half the guests follow, leaving their untouched dinner plates behind. "Daddy!" Isabella runs to Reed. "Do something. She's destroying everything." Reed looks at his daughter, really looks at her, maybe for the first time. "No, Isabella, you destroyed everything yourself." She spins around, mascara streaking down her face, and points at me. "This is your fault. You'll pay for this. I'll sue you for defamation." "With what evidence?" Noah asks calmly. "The truth is its own defense." Isabella grabs her champagne glass and hurls it at the screen. It shatters against her own frozen image, the one from the security footage showing her forging my signature. "I hate you," she screams at me. "I hate all of you." She runs for the exit, but stops dead when she sees the crowd of guests outside, phones raised, capturing her meltdown for posterity. "Isabella," I call after her, "the boutique's keys, now." Her hand shakes as she digs through her wedding purse and throws the keys at my feet. Then she pushes through the crowd and disappears into the night. The remaining guests stand in stunned silence. Harold, the wedding planner, looks like he might faint. Skylar is crying quietly in a corner. Reed touches my arm. "I'm so sorry," he whispers. "I should have seen it sooner." "Yes, I agree. You should have." Penny appears with my coat. "Want to get out of here?" I look around at the expensive decorations, the untouched food, the evidence of Isabella's theft still projected on the wall, all of it paid for with my money, my hard work. "Not yet," I say, turning to face the shocked crowd. "I think it's time for my own announcement, because while Isabella was busy planning her fraudulent fairy tale, I've been planning something else entirely. Something that will ensure she never gets her hands on my business again." I step up to the microphone, and the room falls silent once more. "I'd like to thank everyone for coming tonight." I begin, my voice steady, despite the chaos of the last few minutes. "While this evening hasn't gone as planned, I have an announcement of my own to make." The remaining guests turn to face me. Phones still recording. Perfect. For 15 years, my boutique has been more than just a business. It's been my dream. A dream that someone tried to destroy for their own selfish gains. I pause, letting that sink in. But sometimes, when people try to break you, they only make you stronger. Noah gives me a thumbs up from the back of the room. Reed stands frozen, watching me intently. "I'm pleased to announce that next month, my boutique will be launching an exclusive partnership with the International Women's Artisan Collective. We'll be featuring handcrafted pieces from female entrepreneurs across the globe, with a portion of all proceeds going to support women-owned businesses in developing countries." Melina starts clapping, and others join in. I hold up my hand. "But that's not all. Thanks to some recent events, I've realized the importance of protecting what you've built. So tonight, I'm also announcing the creation of the Phoenix Foundation, a nonprofit organization dedicated to helping women rebuild their businesses after financial fraud or theft." The doors burst open. Isabella storms back in, her wedding dress muddy at the hem. "You think you're so clever, don't you?" "Security," Harold calls weakly, but Isabella's already marching toward me. "You want to talk about fraud?" she snarls, grabbing the microphone. "Let me tell you all what kind of woman Talia really is. She married my father for his money. That's enough." Reed's voice cuts through the room like a whip. "Isabella, stop embarrassing yourself." "Embarrassing myself?" She laughs hysterically. "Daddy, she just destroyed my wedding, my life." "No," Thomas says from the doorway. "He's come back in. You destroyed your own life. And you tried to destroy mine too." Isabella spins toward him. "Baby, please. Don't." He holds up his hand. "The police are outside. They'd like to talk to you about the fraud charges." The color drains from Isabella's face. "Police? But Daddy won't press charges. Will you, Daddy?" "The charges aren't coming from Reed," I say quietly. "They're coming from me, and from Thomas's parents, who wrote you quite a few checks based on your lies. Two police officers enter the ballroom. Isabella backs away from them, looking wildly around the room. This isn't fair. None of this is fair. You deserve consequences, I interrupt, for once in your life. The officers approach Isabella. One of them starts reading her rights. She struggles as they take her arms, her designer dress ripping at the shoulder. I'll get out, she shrieks, as they lead her away. And when I do, you'll be sorry, all of you. The doors close behind them, muffling her threats. The remaining guests stand in shocked silence. Well, Penny says brightly, who wants champagne? A nervous laugh ripples through the crowd. The string quartet, who've been frozen in place this whole time, tentatively begins to play again. Thomas approaches me slowly. I had no idea, he says, about any of it. I'm so sorry. It's not your fault, I tell him. She fooled a lot of people. He nods, then turns to Reed. Sir, I don't even know what to say. Reed puts a hand on his shoulder. Go be with your family, son. We'll sort everything out later. As Thomas leaves, Reed turns to me. The Phoenix Foundation. When did you plan all this? While your daughter was planning her wedding, I reply. I had to do something productive with my anger. Ms. Carter, a reporter from the local paper approaches, notebook in hand. Could we get a statement about tonight's events? I smile. Of course. But first, let me tell you about the amazing women artisans I'll be working with. Hours later, after the last guests have gone and the staff is cleaning up, I sit at an empty table with Reed, Penny, Noah, and Melina. Well, Penny raises her glass. That was one hell of a wedding. To karma, Melina adds. To new beginnings, Noah suggests. Reed takes my hand under the table. Talia, I know I should have listened sooner. I just never wanted to believe. I know. I squeeze his hand. The question is, what happens now? Now, he looks around at the half-dismantled wedding decorations. Now we rebuild. Together, if you'll let me. My phone buzzes, a news alert. Isabella's arrest is already making headlines. Below, it is another alert. My boutique's website is crashing from too much traffic. I raise my glass. To rebuilding then, and to karma. We clink glasses as the last wedding flowers are cleared away, making room for whatever comes next. 3 weeks after the wedding that wasn't, I'm standing in my newly renovated boutique, surrounded by colorful hand-woven textiles and artisanal jewelry from around the world. The grand reopening is in full swing, and the place is packed. Another reporter wants to talk to you. Penny calls from near the entrance. This one's from Forbes. Send her back, I say, adjusting a display of hand-beaded bags from a women's cooperative in Guatemala. The reporter, a sharp-looking woman named Claire, doesn't waste time with pleasantries. Your story has captured national attention. How does it feel to turn a personal crisis into a movement? Before I can answer, the boutique's door chimes. Thomas walks in, looking much better than the last time I saw him. Excuse me, I tell Claire. We can continue this in a moment. Thomas meets me halfway across the store. I wanted to stop by before I leave town, he says. I got a job offer in Seattle. Fresh start, you know? How are you holding up? He manages a small smile. Better. The annulment went through yesterday. My parents wanted me to thank you again for testifying. Thomas, Reed emerges from my office, where he's been handling calls all morning. I didn't know you were coming by. Just saying goodbye, sir. Thomas straightens his shoulders, and returning this, he pulls out a check. It's everything my parents gave her for the wedding. We sold the gifts and liquidated the honeymoon reservations. Reed takes the check, then pulls Thomas into a surprise hug. Take care of yourself, son. You deserve better. After Thomas leaves, Melina rushes over. You need to see this, she says, holding up her phone. It's a social media post from Skylar, a photo of Isabella entering a courthouse, with the caption, "Karma comes for us all. I'm sorry I ever helped her lie." Speaking of karma, Noah joins us, tablet in hand. The DA just called. Isabella's taking a plea deal. She'll have to pay restitution and serve 6 months, plus probation. Only 6 months? Penny frowns. Plus community service, Reed adds quietly. At a women's shelter. The irony isn't lost on any of us. Claire, the reporter, clears her throat. Mr. McCormick, how do you feel about your daughter's sentencing? Reed looks at me, then back at the reporter. I feel like it's exactly what she needs. Sometimes love means letting people face the consequences of their actions. The boutique's door chimes again. This time it's a group of women from the International Artisan Collective, their arms full of new samples. Talia, Maria, their coordinator, hugs me warmly. The first shipment sold out in 2 days. We need to double the next order. Triple it, I say, leading them to the display area. And wait until you see where we're putting your pieces in the new store layout. New store? Claire perks up. You're expanding. 3 new locations, Noah confirms, all featuring work from women entrepreneurs worldwide. The Phoenix Foundation will provide microloans and mentorship programs. And security systems, Penny adds with a wink, really good ones. The afternoon flies by in a blur of interviews, sales, and celebrations. As the sun sets, I find myself in my office with Reed, looking at the framed article on my wall, From Fraud Victim to Philanthropist, How One Woman Turned Betrayal into Triumph. I got a letter from Isabella today, Reed says softly. She asked me not to show it to you. What did it say? That she's sorry, that she wants to make things right. He sighs. That she needs help. Do you believe her? I don't know, but I do know this. You showed her something she's never seen before. What's that? That actions have consequences, and that real strength isn't about taking what you want. It's about building something that matters. A knock at the door interrupts us. It's Maria with the International Artisan Collective. Talia, we have something to show you, she says excitedly. The women in our Guatemala cooperative named their newest design after you. They're calling it the Phoenix Collection. She holds up a stunning handbag, hand-woven in vibrant reds and golds. The tag reads, Rising from ashes, we soar together. It's perfect, I whisper, touching the intricate pattern. Reed wraps an arm around my waist, just like its namesake. Through the office window, I can see the boutique full of customers, reporters, and artisans. Penny's showing Claire the new collection. Noah's explaining the foundation's mission to a group of interested investors. Melina's helping a young entrepreneur fill out a loan application. This, I realize, is what victory really looks like. Not revenge, but renewal. Not destruction, but creation. Ready to go back out there? Reed asks. I pick up the Phoenix bag, more than ready. We've got work to do. The women's correctional facility looks exactly like I imagined. Stark and institutional. I follow the guard down a long hallway, my heels clicking against the linoleum floor. She's not expecting you, the guard says, stopping at a metal door. Are you sure about this? I nod. After all these months, it's time. Isabella sits at a metal table in the visitation room, wearing a beige jumpsuit that's a far cry from her designer wardrobe. She looks up as I enter, and for a moment, I see genuine shock on her face. What are you doing here? She asks, her voice hoarse. I place a folder on the table between us. I brought you something. She doesn't touch it. If this is about more charges, it's an application, I interrupt, for the Phoenix Foundation's rehabilitation program, for when you get out. Isabella stares at me like I've grown a second head. Is this some kind of joke? No joke. I slide the folder closer. The foundation helps women rebuild their lives after financial mistakes, even deliberate ones. Why would you help me? Her eyes narrow. After everything? Because revenge wasn't the point, Isabella. Change was. She opens the folder, slowly, like it might bite her. I don't understand. Your father showed me your letters. All of them, including the ones where you talked about wanting to start your own business someday. Those were private, she whispers. They were honest. Maybe the first honest things you've written in years. She looks down at the application, then back at me. Does Daddy know you're here? Reed knows. So does Thomas. At Thomas's name, she flinches. How is he? Happy. His tech startup in Seattle is doing well. Isabella's fingers trace the foundation's logo on the application, a phoenix rising from flames. I really messed up, didn't I? Yes, you did. I lean forward. But you can either let that define you, or you can use it to change. Why should I trust you? But there's less venom in her voice now, more uncertainty. Because I'm offering you something no one else has, a chance to earn your way back, not with lies or manipulation, but with actual work. She's quiet for a long moment, reading through the application. It says here participants have to do community service at women's shelters and financial literacy programs, teaching others what you learned the hard way. And if I complete the program, then you'll have the skills and support to start your own legitimate business. But you'll have to build it yourself, brick by brick, no shortcuts. Isabella wipes at her eyes with the heel of her hand. I don't deserve this chance. Maybe not, but you're getting it anyway. The question is, what will you do with it? She picks up the pen I brought, then hesitates. What about everyone else? The people I hurt? That's part of the program too. Making amends takes time. She starts filling out the application, her handwriting shaky but determined. I'm sorry, she says suddenly, not looking up, for everything. I know. When she finishes, I take the application and stand. Someone from the foundation will be in touch about next steps. Talia, she calls as I reach the door. Thank you for not giving up on me completely. Don't thank me yet. The hard part's still coming. Outside the prison, Reed is waiting in the car. How did it go? I show him the completed application. She's ready to try. And you're ready to let her? The foundation isn't about holding grudges. It's about building bridges. I buckle my seatbelt, even the scary ones. Reed starts the car. You're a better person than most. No, I correct him. I just finally understand the difference between justice and vengeance. My phone buzzes with a text from Penny. New artisan collection just arrived. Wait till you see what they've created. Another message pops up. This one from Noah. 5th location's paperwork is ready. You're officially going national, sis. I smile, thinking about the journey from that first confrontation in my boutique to now. About how sometimes the worst things that happen to us lead to the best changes we make. Ready to head back to the shop? Reed asks. Actually, I pull up the foundation's website on my phone, where Isabella's story is already being added to our testimonials. I think I'm ready for whatever comes next. Because that's the thing about rising from ashes. You never know how high you might soar, or who might end up rising with you. The guard waves us through the prison gates, and I don't look back. There's too much ahead to keep watching what's behind.